This is Friday to Friday, your weekly wrap-up, going through releases in rap and hip-hop from Friday, March 20th to Friday, March 27th. I have with me today artist and producer hailing from the Twin Cities, Minnesota, Terry V.
Yo, love the intro. That was dope. I got hyped.
All right, appreciate that. Also, producer and artist manager hailing from Montreal, Canada, Matt Carrier.
Yo, what's up?
This week's releases we have Mike Will Made It with Reset, 6WA Project from 600 Entertainment. It's BigXThaPlug, Rosama, MurdaGang, PB, and Young Hood. The album is called 6WA. Kid Cudi with Have You Been to Heaven at Night EP. BigBabyGucci with The Leak. Lil Keke with Streets Is My Witness, Samara Cyn with Detour, Kota The Friend with Local Art Dealer Volume 1, and a couple singles to talk about as well. So I want to kick it off right off the bat with this 6WA project. BigXThaPlug. Yeah. I wanted to start off by saying I'm happy he's not doing another country project right away, at least, because I did not enjoy the country project. So I was stoked to see not only did he not go back to country, he went to the roots of hip hop, because this project is completely NWA and West Coast influence throughout the whole album. The cover art is a full-on recreation of the Straight Outta Compton NWA cover, both in the lyrics and sonically. There's just tons of West Coast and NWA DNA throughout this whole thing.
Especially with the single having that specific sound. I didn't think that the whole album would have that, but yeah, I was not mad at all. And like you said, there's no country at all on this one. It's just pure hip-hop, which I'm happy with.
Hip-hop, yeah. Big X shined on this one. Rosama shined on this one. I wasn't, Rosama wasn't on my radar until listening to this project. But yeah, no, the West Coast influence, the NWA influence. I like the beats on here too. Even a joint with Snoop on there was pretty dope. 80s hip hop and the South like fused together, like really made a really good stew. And they didn't leave no meat on the bones.
There was like those West Coast beats, but then there was also still those like Dallas BigXThaPlug type beats or whatever you want to call them. And it was a mixture of the two. But it worked.
Yeah.
The cadence of rapping, both the 90s style and like the kind of down south style, they're both laid back, right? So it kind of meshes well together where it's just two completely different eras, but just same energy kind of thing.
Yeah,
it was good. It was really good.
So I was trying to understand the connection between NWA and 600 Entertainment, and it was really revealed on the track A Word from the DOC, which was a cool message from him. Yeah. Can't really call it a feature, but it was like a cool message of positivity towards 600 Entertainment. And then I saw through a little research that the DOC is from Dallas, Texas, same as 600 Entertainment crew, which I had no idea about because I always just assumed the DOC is from the West Coast coming up with Dr. Dre. So that's the connection there, is the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area.
That track was standout to me. That even though it's not a song, that message specifically, hearing someone giving blessings and saying like, we're going to support you all the way, just leave some crumbs behind, we'll pick them up, but like, we're going to support you. Like, it was such a strong, nice message. And I feel like that's exactly what Big X has been doing, is just pushing that sound. It was really nice to hear that track. It was very inspiring.
Sometimes there's a disconnect between like the older generation and the newer generation of hip hop.
Oh yeah.
And we have to kill that and show more support to each other, even more so now like older artists are getting a chance to shine on records. And so it's dope to hear that instead of the old man shaking his fist at the cloud. We got him showing love to these guys. This was dope. I was surprised to see this one, just fused off of NWA in the 80s, but yeah, no, they knocked this one out the park. I think this was my favorite release out of the week, was the 6WA album.
There were countless NWA references throughout the whole project.
Oh, yeah.
But just some quick highlights. The song Safe to Say was their version of Today Was a Good Day. I don't think it actually sampled any of it, but it was at the same tempo and then wrapped up with Today Was a Good Day at the very end of the flow. Yeah. And then the song 6WA samples 6 in the Morning by Ice-T, which is perfect for 6WA. And then there was America's Most Wanted, samples Boys in the Hood by Eazy-E. And then the track with Snoop's Sixer Party samples Nothing But a G Thing. So there was a good combination of both samples sampling the classic tracks, but also writing from scratch some very distinct West Coast and also Dallas-Fort Worth area type beats, if you could call it that.
Yeah, I'd also add I Go, one of my favorite songs off of this project too. Like I said, I want to check for more Rosama. He definitely snapped on this project.
Yeah. And like you said, on 6WA, they sampled like the 6 in the morning, which is how Rosama enters a song. Like that's his first bar. Which what a great way for anyone to enter a song, right?
Understood the assignment, man.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. For me, I'm just learning about Young Hood and MurdaGang PB from this. I'll definitely be checking out their solo albums for sure because I enjoyed this so much. That's why groups work for cross promotion. You get people like me that are like, okay, now I got a sampler from you from your group project. Now I'm down to check out your solo stuff since you impressed me. So check out whatever comes next from them. Lastly, I just want to go over a quick list of producers that worked on this thing. Tony Coles, Rance, Charles Cooks, Rick Romero, Bandplay, who we talked about a bunch last week, Munty, Dave Cohen, Dwilly, Bounce Go Hard, 850, Chef Made, Aim on My Neck, amongst others, but those are just some highlights.
Big S has rhymed over some dope ass shit, man. His shit has been dope. His production
and when your beats
crazy.
are good before you have money, before you have the budget to pay the big producers, like you've found the right producer, stick by him.
Yeah,
like
stick by your producer.
Especially when you can create a real sonic identity with a producer. That's really what every rapper should be aiming for, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, 100%. 100%.
All right, you guys want to talk about WiLL Made It Reset?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
There's a lot of features on this, some relevant features right now too, because we got T.I. on this right during the 50 Cent beef. We got CeeLo Green right after dropping his epic Gnarls Barkley comeback. Cole with, I believe, his first verse post fall off and snapping, and probably, for me, I liked it better than a lot of stuff on the fall off.
Yeah.
But you know, comparison culture. But man, yeah, that was easily one of my favorite songs, was the Cole feature. Real quick, I just want to go over Young Thug, 21 Savage, Caribou, 2 Chainz, Huncho, Ludacris, that Ludacris verse, Tizo Touchdown, Chief Keef, Young Boy Never Broke Again, OJ the Juice Man, Killer Mike, Sway Lee. Obviously, WiLL Made It super well connected. He can probably get almost any artist he wants.
Oh yeah.
This showed. It was a good stretch of different artists that he had, because it wasn't all Southern rappers. It wasn't all hood trap. Like he brought back Ludacris, who went crazy. The J. Cole song, man, say what you want. And I had to walk back a lot of stuff because the band's pen stays in shape, man.
100%.
It stays in shape.
That's never something that I'll ever deny. He could always be a part of the conversation.
That Killer Mike verse too with Dro and T.I. Yeah.
That was a really interesting combo. I didn't really expect that combination of rappers.
No, and then I think Killer Mike came in last too. So like when he came, like when I heard it, I'm like, and we got Mike. Yeah.
Some producer tapes will sometimes be like the same sound throughout. This had like very different vibes. For me, my standout was the Young Thug song. I used the Spotify DJ, and it let me know that I've listened to it 56 times since.
Oh my god!
I've had it on repeat. I felt like those Young Thug vibes I didn't get with the Post Prison album, and so those specific vibes I'd been craving for a while, and so I guess I just went overboard with having it on repeat. But I missed the more bouncy, melodic kind of Young Thug song, and WiLL has the sound selection for it.
By the way, that song is called Russian Roulette. But it sounds like some classic Thug, to the point where I'm wondering if this was a verse he had in the Tuck.
It feels like it.
Thug famously has thousands of unreleased songs, so it could possibly be an old unreleased song. I would love it if that weren't true and actually Thug was like feeling that inspired enough to give us something this good since getting out. I would love if he was like really, you know, back on his ship. But either way, we got the song.
Yeah.
That's it. And WiLL Made It has always shown that he's a great producer. He can make beats. There's no denying that. But he also has a good ear. He knows what to put together, how to put it together. I mean, this isn't his first album. I don't think any of his albums have ever really flopped that bad, especially like for a producer album. They've always kind of had their couple of songs that stood out and like did their thing. And even like you mentioned the Ludacris verse, that gave me nostalgia. I mean, Ludacris verses are always have that kind of comedic tone, and like even the more recent ones, but that one just felt like 2005, 2010, like just
back in his bag.
The beat even sounded like, it reminded me of like a 2000s Timbaland beat where it had that bounce to it, where Ludacris, he just went crazy on it. He did some old school kind of flows where he was like doing a long pause, like ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. but like that kind of thing where he just put like a long pause in there, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
Yes.
Because that's so his style, man. Because Ludacris is one of my favorite rappers and like influential rappers in terms of his creativity. But also like Tizo, I've heard some Tizo records. My friend is like a really big Tizo fan. One thing he like harps on Tizo is just like his harmonies and the melodies and how he layers his vocals. And on Deeper, the song, like, as much as I love Ludacris' verse on there, Tizo did an amazing job on this record too.
Yeah, true.
I remember Tizo when I was before X became Twitter. I remember seeing Tizo with like maybe 100, 150 followers on there, and this guy was posting every single day. Sometimes, like when you're looking to market stuff, you know, you see how other people do it. And you're like, oh, I don't want to post every day like that. Like that seems like too much. And he did it, and look where he is now. Like this is a guy who's been selling himself and really showing, you know, what he could do, and now he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And like you said, the vocal layering, like it's nice, it's polished. He put in the work, marketed himself, and
it's paying off. Was it the Amazon performance that Tyler had did and he had brought Tizo out? Like even his performance where he's like escaping like the mental patient in his big ass bed but still performing, like yeah, this dude is dope.
Because of his sound getting found, he's just, I guess, a hot commodity as a, you know, everyone wants him as a feature on their project.
And he's done a lot of features. So I have the
feeling something's gonna surprise drop at some point. Like you can't be so consistent and not drop something.
I mean, and if anything else, like it's just continuing his reach. It's just continuing his reach, especially with all these different artists that are on here, like T.I., OJ, 2 Chainz, all these different artists on this project to like to broaden like his range.
Oh, I forgot to say, the OJ song. That was a good song too. I feel like OJ really has a specific Gucci, you know, Brick Squad kind of trap sound. And it's hard to have that sound in 2026 and make it sound kind of still authentic and not, you know, outdated. But again, Mike Will did it. It was good.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites as well. That one was called Stove Lit with OJ the Juice Man.
I like the Killer Mike verse. There was a track on there with Zaytoven, and so I'm thinking, like, did they co-produce the beat? I want to say maybe Zaytoven did the melody and then Mike did the drums. I'm not sure, I can't say, but just listening to the drums on this album, like a lot of hi-hat rolls and things like that, snare rolls that Mike Will does.
There are a few producers on this. Like there's Mike Will, like he's the executive producer, but then you have 30 Rock, 8 Major, plus Sony Digital, London on the track, Zaytoven, then Chop Squad DJ and BJ Burton. So I mean, like as long as Mike Will made it is able to step back and go, hey, look, you do your thing and then I'll finish the song, you know? And I mean, everything was cohesive, everything sounded great. So I love to see that it wasn't just one guy doing everything and he's able to collaborate.
Yeah. You had mentioned like hearing J. Cole on this album and like wanting to hear more of it on Fall Off. That was one of the things that I feel like a lot of people are saying, because people are like, dang, I wish I heard Cole on more beats like this and this. And even watching that interview was just like, it just made more sense that was a project that he wanted to do, like just have his hands on to where he can walk away and say like, I done it, I did my best. But I love when J. Cole raps with other producers, man. He makes some of his best works rapping with other producers.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Nothing wrong, Cole. Keep doing what you do, but you know.
Yeah. But that's why the feature run was so crazy. That's part of that, is because it's like, oh, he's so versatile. Like he can hop on so many different types of beats and different people's styles and still make it work.
Yeah, I guess we're getting on a J. Cole conversation, but yeah, no, you're right. He was great on this, and 100% I would have loved to have seen more of this energy on the Fall Off. But I understand that that's not what he wanted to do with the Fall Off. So
I am thinking about possibly doing a Fall Off part 2 because we learned so much from these recent interviews that now I'm like, should we revisit that conversation? Because I already feel a lot differently. But
I'm down for that.
If you haven't already heard that, do check out our Fall Off special episode. But Cole aside, let's take a detour to Samara Cyn's Detour. This is my other favorite release from this week. So this was a pretty fun project. Standout tracks for me. Oh Shit, of course. I really liked Good Is a Lie, and then Bushwick, which was featuring Overcast. Overcast also produced a few joints on here, but he's featured as a vocalist on one of them. But he did also produce, because he produces and raps, so he produced some on the songs that he's not featured on as well.
Okay. I love her versatility. I love the melodies, her lyrics. I really like Nomad too, Highest, Nomad. But Bushwick and Oh Shit like are the standouts for me. But this was a vibe. I like the production on this. It was like upbeat, earthy. Yeah, something that you probably light up and just like ride and vibe to. Like it was a really dope listen.
She seems to have a solid small team of producers that she's working with consistently, because there's a lot of overlap between the songs. It's not a big group. So she's working with Too Fresh, who's twin brothers from Nashville. They've worked with Mac Miller, Teddy Swims, Duckworth. There's someone named Para Krstajic, who is like a world-class bass player. And then when I learned that and then went back and listened to the album again, I was like, wow, the bass lines are really next level in this. And then also Whit Kane and Docsmade. So not a huge list of producers, but you can really tell everything was written from scratch for her. This is like a team that she's working closely with to build a sound for her.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I got out of this too, like building her sound, finding her sound, and finding her voice. She's there. Like, I think like she's there or she's arriving there. At least for me, she's dope. I want to give this a listen again when it's warmer outside and in Minnesota. I can't wait to actually spin this at our next art event too. Some of these songs, they fit the vibe. So I'm excited. She's supposed to be touring, I guess, with Smino coming up soon. So I'm excited to see.
Oh, with Smino, that's a good show. That makes sense. Yeah. Next, I did want to mention a little bit about Kota the Friends Local Art Dealer Volume 1. This just dropped at the very end of the week, so didn't have as much time to listen to this as I normally would. But I found out it actually came out already through some small channels in February, and it just hit streaming this week. And it actually first came out on the service Even, EVEN, which I'm growing increasingly interested in now because more people are using it, including J. Cole, who used it on that little EP that came out like a week before the fall off. But it's supposed to be like a more direct way to support artists for digital rather than buying a CD, because like the profit margins, as we know, on digital music has just become so razor thin. So this is a company that's trying to make digital music have a more direct line to the artist. So there's that aspect of it where the margins are better, but also he released it over a month early for his most hardcore fans to get there first, which I thought was cool and a great idea because he was able to maximize the value he got from his biggest fans. Because if he had just put it on streaming, you know, even his biggest fans are most likely just going to go check it out on Spotify. But instead, he had a direct connection to them through social media or whatever to say, follow this link, support me directly to buy this project, and then put it on streaming a month and a half later. I thought that was pretty cool because he is
dope.
Yeah, he's an independent artist. He owns his own label called Flight Boys. So you have to be clever about how you package your product when you're independent because you don't have that big machine pushing your music for you. So I like to see that.
100%, yeah.
And I feel like he's one of those artists where his fan base is very loyal. It's just one of those guys where like I don't hear about him a lot, but when I do, it's people who really love him.
Finding a way to distribute your music to where you can get something back. A friend of mine, like their approach to what they recently did was just like on streaming platforms, they put out the samples. You know, you get like 30 seconds or 45 second snippets of the song, and then kind of invite them to Bandcamp to go purchase the album and do it like that. But it's always interesting to find ways how independent artists are connecting with their fans and getting a chance to get more return on their album. So I'm pretty invested to learn more about it.
In terms of the project itself, Local Art Dealer Volume 1, it's very musical in terms of instrumentation. There's lots of real instruments, guitars and keys. It sounds played rather than sampled. Sounds built from scratch, except for Atlantic Avenue featuring Rome Streets, which makes sense for that feature to give a more sampled sound. But that was the only feature on the album. It was a pretty great track. I like that one. And my line of the week goes to Kota the Friend. On Buckets, he says, "Before I kick the bucket, I'ma move out west. Settling is out of my budget. I can't afford another regret." Other standout tracks, 10 Cent and Love Slave. So I like this one.
I heard it a little bit. I feel like at first I didn't understand the title, but then like you explain like the streaming service and everything, I understand. But like you said, everything felt very live played.
I haven't had a chance to go out and check it out, so I'm listening to you guys talk about it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a listen.
All right, I wanted to talk quickly about BigBabyGucci with The Leak. I'm pretty picky about auto-crooning stuff. It's hard for me to like a full project in that sound, but I ended up liking more tracks off this than I thought I would after the first listen. There was some standout stuff on here. I liked New Mexico, Walking Dead, Send You Off, and Still Alive. Those were the ones I found worth checking out off this. Have you guys ever heard of BigBabyGucci?
Yeah.
This is my first exposure to him.
I have not. No, I have not.
Yeah, I've been hearing him since like maybe 2020-ish. He had a song that did really well, was Drop Top Lexus. But then in 2020, he dropped Can't Feel Shit, which was Mike Dean kind of style, heavy instrumentals. I definitely recommend checking him out. Like he definitely has a couple of standout tracks that are worth saving. It depends if you want that vibe, because it is a very specific vibe. You know, it's auto-tunes, like you said, auto So crooning is the term you used?
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. I had never heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's from Charlotte, North Carolina as well, which I found interesting. That's also where DaBaby is from. Is there anything else either of you guys want to talk about?
The only single I had to bring up was Minks in Miami. Beat, the sample flip, dope. I love Rick's verse. I love French's verse. I did not like Max B singing that damn hook. Like I like they could have got a female in it or somebody else
You don't
to sing
like the
it.
wave?
But no, I don't. Sorry, Max. I'm sorry, my boy. It's just like no. But the beat and everything else was crazy.
Everything. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Like Ross can rap as usual. French, you know, it's hit or miss for me, but on this one he did what he had to do.
Yeah, he was in pocket.
Max is here's the thing.
Max
I
is
can
out of
hear
pocket.
the potential. I can hear, like, I wasn't around during the Max era. Like, I wasn't into music yet at that time. So I don't know how much it was hitting when he came out. I can hear the potential when I listen to it. It's just, to me, and this might be rude, but to me, it feels so unpolished. It feels so, like, went in, did it the first time and was like, yo, this is amazing, right? And everyone else went like, yeah, you're right, man. This is phenomenal. We're for sure keeping this.
Yeah.
And, like,
He didn't have the good homie to be like, you could probably get a better take.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that fully understanding that it's probably super rude of me because he is, you know, a legend, and he is like, he gets his flowers and a lot of people really like him. But to me personally, that's what it kind of sounds like.
Yeah, unless that's a New York thing where they go crazy for it in New York. No, he should have had Lil Russell's engineer in the room where it's all like, nah, bro, not no. Like,
engineer.
And it frustrates me because
Let's go back.
love bad singing. Random throwback, but like, you know, Mac Main?
Yeah.
Mac Main used to sing the worst hooks, but I liked them. They sounded good. And so with Max B, I don't know if that's what he's going for, especially with the last album, the big single being Ever Since You Left Me with French and Max B. I don't know if you guys heard that one. It has the big sample, the disco sample.
I heard that today. And
Today?
he actually, yes, I heard that today on the radio today. And that was a bit better than this. Like
I love disco. That's a huge sample for me. French comes on, does his thing as French does, you know, on big songs. And Max starts singing.
Yeah,
that was the single of that album. Like that was the hit of their collab album that just came out. And again, the beat is phenomenal. Like
it's a dope beat.
I don't know what it is.
It's the dope beat. Yeah, no. And when I first heard Minks in Miami, and I'm all like, okay, Ross is coming back on it. And then the hook comes on, and I'm all like, no.
It's frustrating.
He didn't even auto-tune it. Like, I don't even know if auto-tune would have made it sound better. Like, and no, that's not like being disrespectful, because it's not about ego when you're trying to make a dope song. Sometimes you need somebody in the room where it's like, nah. Unless that's, like I said, maybe that's a New York thing or a Flossie thing. And I just don't get it.
Has the confidence, like when he's doing these hooks, I can tell that he's doing the wave thing while he's doing the recording. Like I can hear this, like, you know, like.
But it's hard to tell your man, like, I don't.
Yeah. But you know what? All that disrespect aside, I want to hear more of it, because I feel like I need to understand it. I need to hear it be developed. I need to hear maybe different producers maybe try and work with it. Maybe, I don't know.
Both of the beats were dope. So I don't know.
Engineer maybe. Different.
Could be.
I don't know.
But yeah, outside of that, Minks in Miami is, I do like the record. It's just, maybe it's one of those times like you'll hear it enough times to where it just bothers you less and less. But I don't know. Yeah,
I also felt like what I got from Ross, what I got from French, and what I got from the beat, I can get from other songs. Like I can get from other Rick Ross songs. You know, I don't feel like this one is a staple in my Rick Ross catalog, you know?
Nah, just some swaggy that they'll drop for the clubs. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I do feel like we are soon due for a new Rick Ross album, though.
As long as he doesn't have Max B on the hook doing that, then yeah, I'm all in.
No, we're due. Yeah, hasn't been since 2023-ish.
This could be the year.
Yeah.
All right. Last single I want to talk about this week off the upcoming Pompeii Utility project. We got another single from Earl Sweatshirt and Mike called Leadbelly. Look, the more beats I hear off this project, the more excited I am for the full thing. I'm hearing some weird discourse online that people are upset for some reason with Earl, Sweatshirt, and Mike for not rapping over like the most lo-fi sampled shit imaginable. This thing is going to be a standout. It's going to sound different in their catalog. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go back to those albums. Pompeii Utility is going to be... I'm really looking forward to Pompeii Utility. But
I like what I'm hearing. And people hate for no reason. I feel like, especially Earl has a very specific, distinct sound. And I'm happy that his fan base love that sound. I'm happy that that's what they want from him. But let the guy explore other venues. Let the guy explore other lanes. You know, he is versatile. It's just that he hasn't, I think, maybe gotten the opportunity, maybe because of the fan base or the pressure, whatever. But these are sounding good. They're sounding good. I'm excited.
Yep, dropping next week, April 3rd.
Yeah.
Sometimes fans, especially when your artist isn't like huge or mainstream, you feel like you have this obligation like to kind of keep them in the pocket that you found them in. But you got to give them that chance to grow and experiment, because that's what artistry is at the end of the day. Like, it's cool that you've grown to love them as they are, but you got to give them a chance to flap their wings and try different shit, man. Like, you fall in love with the nostalgic of your artist, which is cool, but at the same time, allow them to grow and try something different. Let them go. Let him go. Let him flap his wings. Let him leave the nest.
I still feel like it still felt like Earl Sweatshirt to me. It was still
100%
like,
easily.
It wasn't lo-fi, but it wasn't so far off. Like, it's not a rock and roll single, you know?
Right,
like,
and it's ironic
the way the
too,
bass is gritty, like,
because I remember when Earl first switched to that sound, people are like, "Wait, what? What's going on? What happened to the dark synth stuff?" So it's like, people are just gonna be upset by change, I guess. I love new shit.
Bring it on,
Bring it on.
Exactly.
And I love bad change, because sometimes like an artist doing a bad new sound just means that they're experimenting, and that's music at the end of the day.
That's fair
throw
too.
it against the wall, see what sticks.
That was this week's releases. We talked about Mike Will Made It with Reset, 600 Entertainment, BigXThaPlug, Rosama, MurdaGang PB, and Young Hood with 6WA. Samara Cyn with Detour, Kota the Friend with Local Art Dealer Volume 1, BigBabyGucci with The Leak. Talked about some singles, and then we also did not talk about Lil Keke, Streets Is My Witness, and Kid Cudi, Have You Been to Heaven at Night EP. Let's talk about what else we've been doing in music this week. For me, I didn't mix any tracks this week, but if you're a producer or artist that needs your track mixed and mastered, you can email me at frequencyoverflow@gmail.com or DM me at frequencyoverflow on Insta for my rates. But this week I did make some promotional shorts for our 1925 loop kit, which is a free loop kit you can find in the Frequency Overflow Instagram bio. It's the easiest way to get it. It samples public domain songs released in 1925, so completely royalty-free samples, and the kit itself is free. 150 loops. Check that out.
Dope shit.
What about you, Terry? What you been up to this week?
Yeah, working on another single. I've been trying to do weekly. Last week, I didn't quite meet that, so that's cool. But I ended up dropping a single, Don't Know. And I'm preparing to drop another single this week. I'm just trying to decide which one out of the two that I'm going to release. And I should probably just pull the trigger, because I'm getting more comfortable just dropping it and just putting it out there. So still working on music. Produced a record for a friend of mine, Loveless, who's working on a project or EP that he's going to drop. And yeah, you can find me on socials at YoTerryV. That's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the socials, YouTube, and just look for more stuff coming soon.
Excellent. What about you, Matt?
I've just been, starting beats and not finishing them. The classic producer grind. Starting hundreds of things, finishing none. Other than that, just been brushing up on my music theory, trying to just expand my knowledge of music and not get lost in the language of it. And yeah, just been working also on some marketing stuff for my artist, Lucius B. Thundercat, just some promotional stuff. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, but other than that, it's been mostly just producing and not finishing.
Dope. Such is the life.
True.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Excellent. So releases coming up next week. We have Central C with All Roads Lead Home EP. This actually got delayed 1 week. That's why it was also mentioned in this section last week. Chief Keef with Skeletor. Dalek with Brilliance of a Falling Moon. Fetty Wap out of prison with Xavier. Juvenile with Boiling Point. Kanye West with Bully. Stove God Cooks with All This For Me. This is one of my most excited albums of the entire year. And lastly, Yeet with ADL.
A lot of heavy hitters. Okay.
If you haven't checked the Juvenile single that he put out, I think like a couple weeks ago, it's worth checking out with Meg Thee Stallion. It just
Okay.
I love hearing OGs that still sound so good, so modern. The flow is there. I'm excited for it.
All right,
Cool.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm glad Chief Keef got another project coming out. I was glad that he was on Mike Will too. So I'm like, hey, return of the God.
Thank you, listeners. If you haven't already, please give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, take a second to rate us 5 stars. You can save the F2F Spotify playlist to follow along with what we're listening to throughout the week. You can find that link in the description. To get a hold of us, you can email friday2fridaypodcast@gmail.com. Our intro and outro music by Lunar G. Find him at prodbylunar.g on Instagram. Podcast edited by me, Jacob from Frequency Overflow. You can find me at Frequency Overflow and join us every week to stay in tune with hip hop releases from Friday to Friday. Peace.